Hello, folks. Welcome to Kudlow. I'm Larry Kudlow. We've got some breaking news. Former President Donald Trump will speak at the Economic Club of New York luncheon on Thursday. That's this Thursday, and that's the subject of the riff. All right, as I said, breaking news. Former President Donald Trump will deliver a major speech on the economy this Thursday before a lunch meeting of the Economic Club in New York. Expect Mr. Trump to lay out his plans to rejuvenate the economy by reducing tax rates, rolling back onerous and costly red tape and regulations. Of course, drill, baby, drill to reopen the fossil fuel spigots and pipelines and leasing and LNG terminals, along with his approach to protecting American economic interests from unfair trading practices. Call that the Trump Reciprocal Trade Act. He will also emphasize the need to roll back some of the fiscal excesses in the budget. Now, his key point, I believe, is going to be expand on the urgent need for more rapid supply-driven economic growth for middle America, for young people, for minorities, to help all of them climb the ladder of success. Also, new tax and regulatory incentives will facilitate the production of more goods, which will bring down prices and provide an escape hatch for Americans trapped in the Biden-Harris affordability crisis. Now, for a preview of Thursday's speech, here's something Ms. Trump said on the stump in Johnstown, Pennsylvania last Friday. Take a listen.
We will unleash safety, prosperity, and peace for Americans of every race, religion, color, and creed. Together, we will deliver low taxes, low regulations, low energy costs, low interest rates, low inflation, so that everyone can afford groceries, a car, and a home.
All right. Here's one way to think about all this. By removing all the Biden-Harris tax and regulatory obstacles to fossil fuel production, more oil put on the market will, of course, reduce the price of oil. So, instead of $80 a barrel, oil prices could ease to something like $40 a barrel as U.S. industry produces 15 or 16 million barrels per day instead of just the 13 million that was first reached in 2019. Now, the impact of petroleum costs permeates virtually every nook and cranny of consumer goods and essentials throughout the economy. In other words, prices everywhere will tumble. Keeping business, individual, and investment tax rates low, why, an investment boom for the private sector. That would lead to the kind of capital deepening of all matter of business equipment and technological investment and advances. Real wages, which have fallen nearly 4% or $2,000 during the Biden-Harris years, they would soar as they did during the Trump years when they rose by 9% or roughly $6,000 for the typical working family. Again, the principle is more goods reduces prices in the healthiest possible way. We'll be talking more about all this in the next couple days, but expect Mr. Trump to sharply criticize Kamala Harris's plan for price controls, rent controls, her extravagant new spending on housing that's going to jack up home prices even more, or her myriad welfare-related policies that essentially pay people not to work and would cost another $2 trillion. That would break the budget even more than it has already been broken. Ms. Harris cast the deciding vote for the original sin, which was $1.9 trillion spending plan back in 2021, and then the $1.2 trillion misnamed Inflation Reduction Act in 2022. And on top of all that, the Harris economic plan would throw a complete wet blanket over the entire economy with a $5 trillion tax hike that would make the U.S. totally uncompetitive globally, cause a rush of capital and businesses to friendlier foreign shores. She'd raise the marginal tax rate on dividends and capital gains to 44.6% from the current 23.8%. And then the combined tax on business investors would rise, get this, to a rate of 60%. She proposes a wealth tax on unrealized capital gains that would destroy family farms and small business and everything else. Expect a stock market crash on that one. And taxes on estates would rise as high as 81%. Now, she may or may not be for a ban on fracking. Flip-flop, flip-flop. But it doesn't really matter because Biden-Harris regulation and litigation on fossil fuels is as good as a fracking ban. Recall, Ms. Harris was a cheerleader for Bidenomics, which led to a cumulative price rise of about 20% over their term. Groceries up 22%, gas up 50%, electricity 32%, and then staples like eggs and sugar up 40%, or peanut butter 49%, bread 46%, car insurance and repair costs 47%. And meanwhile, as the New York Sun has pointed out, even though the year-over-year price index has eased from 9.1% in the middle of 2022 to 2.5% recently, that's still 25% above the Fed's 2% target. And think of this. If you had $100 worth of savings and prices rose 2% every year for 30 years, that $100 would be worth only $55.70 after that. This is why neither the Fed nor the Biden-Harris administration should even think about declaring victory on inflation. More important, Mr. Trump's plan to promote supply-side growth and budget restraint, coupled with low oil prices, will actually bring prices down, which is what blue-collar, hard-hat Americans yearn for to make ends meet around their kitchen tables. So, breaking news, dial up the New York Economic Club on Thursday to hear Mr. Trump's plan to save America. And that's tonight's riff.